Hello YouTubers, Cal here again with more insights into Tom Clancy's The Division. Open beta was available this previous weekend and I managed to get back into my agent, head back into New York and play this again. So I didn't get much time this beta to play, so I mainly played a bit of group play with some friends of mine from ARMS, mainly solo play though, and a little bit of mucking around in the dark zone near the end. So, starting off with what's changed. This is based on what I noticed as what's changed. I'm sure it's not everything, it's only what I saw. I'm sure there's a bunch of other videos out there for those who want a full rundown of what has changed and hasn't changed, plus obviously the change notes that have come out from Ubisoft. The first one off the map though is the new mission, which is the Subway Morgue, and this really does introduce in great detail the faction called the Cleaners, which is one of the 4 factions that are prevalent in the game, aside from the Division. I have a whole different video which is a playthrough of this, but in short the aim of this mission is you have to rescue an engineer while cleaning out a heap of these cleaners. This was a cool little raid. It showed off the different AI playstyle of the cleaners versus the riders, which you sort of fair bit in the closed beta, and it added a kind of an element to the mission tactic that you didn't get in the original missions, which I thought was good. The Madison Square Garden mission, which was the rescuing of your head medical person, is back, but it is now orders of magnitude harder to complete. You can do it in solo. It's a lot harder, particularly the final boss fight, but it's not impossible. I did like the change that it did actually make it a bit harder. I'm sure there's a few people out there that thought there was a fair bit of bullet soaking. I didn't think so. There's some commentary generally about bullet soak that people are complaining about. I disagree with that, but that's beside the point. I'm getting off topic. There's more encounters, which are like little missions that get you health and tech points. And this allows you to open up more elements of your base, particularly in the tech area, engineering area, and in the hospital medical space. This rewards you with more skills. There's a new skill that was opened up, which was a sentry gun. And it also allows you to upgrade skills which you had access to in closed beta, which I thought was a really cool thing. So, the sentry gun. I didn't use it. It looked pretty cool. It's a fairly standard sort of sentry gun-esque thing you might have seen out of things like Aliens and other games that sort of, you deploy it and it takes out enemies for you while you're doing other things. There's a lot more NPCs around the place, both friendly and enemy. It made for far more action and far less running around, which I thought was excellent. It just, one thing that was a bit of a disappointment about the closed beta was there was a lot of transition time between doing stuff. This was a lot different this time. You could do a lot more Robin Hood things, giving out more stuff and getting more swag in return. Plus there seemed to be a lot more enemy NPCs to take down. I noticed there's a lot more weapons available as well. I managed to pick up a fair few more sort of small machine guns, a Magnum, an AK-47, and that was on the very short time I was on, plus a heap more mods and armor. I think that just came out of the fact that there was a lot more NPCs with stuff to give. Leveling up seemed a lot quicker. Now, I don't know whether or not this was probably because my experience in closed beta, so I knew what to do, where to go, and how to kind of maximize XP gain, or the fact there's also, again, more NPCs to get stuff, donate stuff, or to give stuff to. Now, the Dark Zone. I played about 30 minutes inside the Dark Zone, and I'll have a short video, which is really, really short actually, coming on that soon, and it's really just sort of a snapshot. Firstly, don't go in solo. It's a wild place playing alone, and you literally cannot trust anyone unless you're in a team. I dropped in with about 50 minutes left before the server shut down, and the place was littered with rogues. I literally ran straight in from the entry point, and within about 15 seconds, as you'll see in the video, got completely wailed on by a rogue. It made the whole feeling inside of there as in really kind of eerie and a little bit more like I had to sort of look over my shoulder a lot, and it was a bit of an anxious experience, which I thought was excellent. I know a few people have complained about the Dark Zone and how it works and the whole PvP mechanic and that, and yeah, I tend to disagree with their attitude. I personally like that idea. I think solo is ridiculously hard, but in fact that kind of made it even more fun. it did give a feel that it was a really lawless place.
I've got
So, what did I like? The game mechanic, the underlying game mechanic in regards to cover and shoot and the whole sort of RPG come MMA thing, I think is still sound. It had the open beta had increased AI aggression, which meant that you couldn't really just camp in cover like you did last time, which was just like find a spot, camp in it, pop, shoot, and repeat. You really needed to have to think about moving, throwing grenades as a distraction tactic to get the flush enemies out, and that kind of thing. The ability to mod existing skills was cool. I got to upgrade the sticky grenade, which I got fairly early in the game last time, and it allowed it to be incendiary, which meant it sort of fired off a bunch of flame as well as exploding, which I thought was pretty rad. When I stuck it to an enemy in a group, it provided some pretty epic results, particularly the cleaners when their gas canisters exploded as well, which I thought was pretty cool. The cleaners, moving on to that, added a whole new dimension. Their AI behavior, which I'll talk about a bit more in another video. Getting more gear was good. That always adds to the fun, particularly the apparel gear that you got given from NPCs when you were being nice and giving them stuff. And the new mission, as I mentioned before, had some really clever elements to it, which just added to a bit of a different spin to the original. Just run in, kill people, save the day, get out. I'll explain that more in the video when I do the walkthrough.
Yeah, so if you're doing 100 damage.
So, what I didn't like, I noticed on some of the missions, the AI behaviour became a little bit balked. It was weird and okay, but it wasn't too bad, but it did sort of detract from the gameplay. I came across this a couple of times. It's not game breaking, as I said. This is mainly the behaviour that was demonstrated. It was mainly AI just stood there and basically took damage, but it didn't register. Kind of like a weird enemy lag spike. Once I moved to a different position, this demo fixed the AI noticed it, they moved, and in some cases, once I unloaded a bunch of bullets into a particular enemy and then nothing happened, and then I moved, they just suddenly died. So there is some weird lag stuff going on. I can imagine running missions solo all the time will be a long grind, so going back over and over and over and over. The missions that were there did encourage team play. So if you do get this game, I do encourage you to encourage your mates to get it as well, and you guys jump in together and finish these missions all together, because otherwise I think it's just going to be a long grind. Investigations encounters I liked, but they were over too quickly to be fun. I mean, you really just had to do some fairly simple stuff. Particularly if you've got gung-ho members that are like, yeah, I know where everything is, I'll go and do it, blah, blah, blah. And by the time you even get there, it's finished. And as much as it's cool to get free XP and stuff, I'm in a game to actually do something rather than just sort of run around to the next thing while my mate just goes off and does everything for me. If that's the case, I'll go back to the home base and just sit. Which is not fun for anyone. And this is a bit of an in-joke amongst my arm friends. I didn't get my skinny jeans. I got a big wardrobe of stuff by giving out bits of food and water to NPCs, and they gave me stuff back. But I didn't get my skinny jeans. I was devoed. It was an aim for us inside of ARM to have a whole team of skinny jeans guys, and that just didn't work, which was a bit disappointing. But, that's the way it goes.
If you see Cal on there,
what I hope for down the track, now this is probably pie in the sky stuff, but if any of you Ubisoft devs are out there listening to this little Aussie guy prattling on about your game, this is the kind of stuff I want to see. I want the seasons to change. Don't get me wrong, winter in New York City, as per Home Alone and all those wonderful movies, is really cute, and it's in the middle of Christmas, and it's kind of got that whole Die Hard spin to it. But I'd like to see the seasons change over time. I get the feeling that running through snow and seeing Santa and Christmas lights and stuff is just going to get a bit old. So I'm actually really looking forward to running around Rikers in a pair of board shorts and a Hawaiian shirt carrying an AK. It's kind of weird, but I think that's something that would add a really cool dimension to it, is in Central Park shooting each other out in springtime, for example. I really hope that more of New York City's opened up. Don't get me wrong, I like playing the south part of the island, and running through Madison Square Gardens and through part of the lower south side or lower east side. But I went to New York a few years ago. I love the city. I'm a big fan of it. I want to see more of it in game. I'd love to have a big shootout in Yankee Stadium, or a big flush out of Macy's, for example, or the ability to get to the top of Empire State and snipe enemies, or do a clearance of the UN building or something. I don't know, but open up more of New York, even getting to like Bronx and Brooklyn and all that. Anyway, so that's what I want to see generally.
You got an 800 megabyte patch.
So in conclusion, I am still keen for this game. I really think it's a breath of fresh air from an MMO perspective. It's something different. The concept of a dystopian future I know has been done before, but it is, I mentioned in my previous video when I did first impressions, this is something that the PC guys haven't had an opportunity to play, I don't believe, in a little while, from in regards to it being an MMO with guns in a sort of semi-futuristic atmosphere. I know that Destiny came out and kind of filled that hole with a lot of the console players. The PC guys missed out on that, and I am kind of generally interested in it. And this is coming from a place where I didn't get the E3 hype. I missed it in PAX Oz. In fact, I saw it in PAX Oz and discounted it, went, whatever, it's another Tom Clancy thing. And I've been pleasantly surprised to the point of I want to keep playing, and I'm keen for 2 weeks' time. So, in short, I want to get my skinny jeans, I want my trusty M4 back, and I want to venture further into the city of the... Thanks for listening to me. Thanks for watching my video. Please like, please subscribe. There's about 3 or 4 more videos of footage that I've got coming out of my experiences inside of the Division. Look out for them, and I look forward to doing more videos of MWO, Project Cars, and the Division when it comes out. This is Cal, signing off.